So today I'm gonna do something a little bit different. So recently I went on hiatus because I was on vacation. I was planning to make some videos, but I never got around to it. So today I'm doing a combo review of two TV shows that recently had their season end while I was on hiatus. So I'm just gonna kind of combine them into one, especially since I'm seeing Thor: Love and Thunder soon. I gotta see Minions. There are some other TV shows I need to catch up on. There's the Sea Beast, that Netflix movie. So I got a lot of stuff I need to catch up on. So I thought I'd just do a quick combo review for Stranger Things and The Flash. Now, don't expect this to become a regular thing. I may do one for both Miss Marvel and The Terminal List, like kind of put those together because I'm short on time. So this is just gonna be kind of quick, especially since Stranger Things was only 2 episodes. While the 2 episodes added up to about 4 hours, it was still only 2 episodes, and The Flash is still bad. Everyone knows it is, but the weird thing is that the reason I'm doing this, the main reason why I'm doing this, is because I don't have that much to say about either of these. I really don't. It's weird. So, I'm going to start off with the better one. I'm going to start off with Stranger Things. And there's another reason why I'm putting these together is because they have one problem. Like, they both have a similar problem. The finale was kind of disappointing. Don't get me wrong, the Stranger Things finale was far superior to the Flash one, but I stand by the fact that it just was kind of a letdown. So, I'm gonna get into this right off the bat. So, yeah, like I said, the finale was kind of disappointing. Like, episode 8 was really boring, and I get why. It's supposed to be the calm before the storm, if you will. It's the setup for the final episode, for the big 2.5 hour battle. But that doesn't change the fact that little is accomplished in this episode. And it's still dragging that story with Eleven getting her powers back. And while I get what it was building up to with the reveal of Vecna, aka Henry Creel, aka One, it doesn't change the fact that it dragged too long and wasn't very interesting. Same thing with the Russian storyline, which was still going. And they make up a bullshit excuse as to why they have to stay, is that they have to destroy the Demogorgons that are there, because it'll give the kids an advantage when they're fighting Vecna. But there's 2 problems with this. One, why does killing Demogorgons make these little devil snare looking things let go of Steve, Robin, and Nancy? That's never explained. And 2, how do Hopper, Murray, and Joyce even know the kids are fighting anything? They have no idea that Vecna is even exists. And by the time Murray and Joyce left in like episode 2 or 3 or something, Vecna wasn't around yet. Well, he was around, but the kids weren't fighting him yet, so they didn't even know. And so they have no reason to believe they're fighting anything. For all they know, they're perfectly fine. But that just seems like the only way they would know this is if they had watched the show. And that is not physically possible for obvious reasons. And the California plot in particular, that's another one. It just feels useless. I mean, I get the point is that they get Elle from the Nina Project and they do the little sensory deprivation thing. I don't remember what it's called. Inside the pizza shop. The piggyback, if you will. And then she goes out to fight Vecna. But that makes the point of Mike, Will, Jonathan, and Argyle are fucking useless in the finale. They stand around waiting for Elle to do something. That is except for Mike. And this season, and while Mike has been pretty fucking useless since season 1, like he was like the main kid in season 1, and he hasn't done jack shit since, and he's kind of turned into a dick. They make him the ultimate douchebag in this by, like, he has to give support to Elle so she can fight back to Vecna. Fine, whatever. But one of his lines really got under my skin. And the line was, "My life started the day I met you." Which was the same day his supposed best friend went missing. And that same supposed best friend is standing right next to him. What a dick. I can't stand Mike Wheeler anymore. It's like, people complain that they don't kill people off in this show. Like, I don't need it to be a huge bloodbath or anything. That's not what I'm here for. But you could give it some stakes by getting rid of one of them. And if you want, get rid of Mike. Everybody hates Mike nowadays. Like, even one of the stars, Millie Bobby Brown, pointed out the fact that them not killing people off is pretty stupid. But you know who they do kill off? The new characters. That's all they can do. They introduce characters in a season, one of them will survive, and the other ones will die. Season 2, Max and her dumbass brother survive, but Bob gets killed off. Season 3, Robin survives, but then they kill off Alexei. And then this season, we get a cluster of new characters, and of course Eddie, obviously, and Jason end up kicking the bucket. And Eddie's death was very valiant, even though I saw it coming a mile away. Jason's death was very unceremonious, and just kind of seemed like when the ground's splitting, it just kind of splits him in half. And while that did take me by surprise, it just kind of felt unceremonious. Like, yeah, he's a dick, he's an antagonist of the season, but that was kind of an unceremonious death. And Lucas probably had the best part of the story, mostly because Caleb McLaughlin's acting, he really kicked it into high gear in this season. Holy crap. And again, all the acting's great, all the characters are still fun enough. But again, the final battle was just lame. But I will give credit, the guitar scene from the finale, which is being teased since the first trailer, was awesome. I'm not going to take that away from the show. It was freaking awesome. Vecna's still kind of a cool villain, but he kind of gets beaten pretty easily. And it's just not as good. Let's see what else I got on my notes here. That's about it I have for... So it's like, it's still decent, but Season 5 needs to pick up the slack. The Flash. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This one's a lot easier to sort than the last season, because because I'm not including Armageddon. Because I already covered Armageddon. And... so, there were 2 filler episodes, then the Deathstorm arc. Then 2 filler episodes, then the Negative arc. And... okay, first off, the first episode, or the 6th episode, already has a plot hole because Nora go back in time to help with the Godspeed War, and when they come back, a bunch has changed. Like, okay, that kind of makes sense, but for some reason, Jay Garrick is married to someone else in this timeline. That shouldn't be possible considering he was married to the Barry's mom's lookalike when he went back in time with them as well. This doesn't compute. Or hell, I don't even think he went back in time. I think he was already there. But yeah, I bitched about him again. I just remembered that. But yeah, so yeah. Episode 6 was a bust. Episode 7 was wasn't awful. The Deathstorm arc was way too long. And it was not interesting. Like, it was interesting at first, but dear God, it did not need to be like 7 episodes. I don't know what it was. It was like 7 episodes, and they finally killed off Killer Frost. Thank God. I hate Frost so much. I don't know anybody who's not one of these stupid stans of the show that like Killer Frost. She's a terrible character. She always has been. And the Funeral for a Friend episode, where it's just them trying to remember Frost, was one of the most boring episodes of television I've seen in a long time. I could not give less of a shit. Like, I was kind of like fast-forwarding through some scenes because I was getting so damn bored. And the fact that they were not able to coordinate to take down a villain without Frost is fucking laughable. Barry could have easily just swooped in and taken him to Iron Heights. But no, they're unable to coordinate without someone who shoots ice, who doesn't need to be there in the slightest. And Allegra and Cecile are fucking useless in those battles as well. Because we're back to Season 1 Dumbass Barry after Armageddon. He had that one cool scene with the Royal Flush Gang, and then they ironically flushed it down the toilet. And the same thing happens later on in another filler episode after that arc, called The Curious Case of Bartholomew Allen. It's hot in here, I can't think straight. But, again, they do the Season 1 thing of him stopping, talking to the villain instead of dismantling his machine, or the second he comes out, not clapping him in irons. and taking him to Iron Heights. No, he stands there and talks like a dumbass and can't react to this big pulse thing. Bullshit. And the other filler episodes are just stupid. They're boring. I don't care. And again, the Deathstorm arc just wasn't interesting. And the stuff with Iris with her time sickness, I couldn't have cared less. I really couldn't have cared less. But one of these episodes, I believe it was The Curious Case of Bartholomew, did give one cool scene. And it's the very end where Barry finds out that Caitlin's trying to resurrect Frost. And when he does that, he doesn't try to help or anything. He knows that she needs to suck it up. But this does make me hate Caitlin Snow, because she said, what would you do if you could bring your parents back? He changed the timeline several times to get his parents to bring his parents back. And he realized it was a mistake because it caused a bunch of issues, jackass. So Barry rightfully destroys her equipment in a really cool scene. But that gets tossed out the window in the finale, or later on, when Chillblaine, I can't believe he's still in this fucking show, and Caitlin try to do it anyway with other equipment, and they don't resurrect Frost, they create a new ice being, I guess. It's stupid, because they can't commit to what they write. There are a lot of, like, the fake deaths are annoying, like, again, Killer Frost, they just got a new ice person, I guess, I don't know, and one in episode 19. And I will give credit, episode 18 and 19, The Man in the Yellow Tie and Negative Part 1, actually weren't half bad. They still weren't great, but they weren't half bad. And I like the fact, at the end of the episode, I said, finally, they killed Iris off. I knew it wasn't gonna last. I knew it wasn't going to fucking last. And of course not, she gets saved by some bullshit. And they were building up for weeks that there's gonna be a big cameo in the finale. And people are like, oh my god, who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? It's fucking Damien Dark, who we saw like 15 episodes ago. This isn't a big cameo. This guy was here at the beginning of the season. Fuck you, CW. And it's like the stupidest stuff that brings Iris back. The final battle between Barry and Thawne was okay, but again, had they killed Iris off, it would have been a lot better instead of the cheesy ass bullshit they went with. So, yeah, in conclusion, Stranger Things still decent, but again, the finale kind of dropped the ball, I guess. It wasn't that great. It wasn't bad by any means, but they need to step up their game, and the tease for the next season just didn't make a whole lot of sense. Or I guess it did, but it was just kind of underwhelming. The tease for Flash Season 9 was virtually non-existent. It showed some Crystal in 2049, I think, and that was about it. So yeah, I'm not going to score these, but yeah, if you like Stranger Things, you've probably already seen it, but go watch it. Avoid the Flash like the plague. And now I gotta go see Thor Love and Thunder, so I'll see you then. Bye.